Welcome back everyone, and welcome to another exciting Skyrim mod showcase. Today we are diving into Classical Lichdom. This is an expansion on the Undeath mod that we just finished walking through. And now we're going to see just what more awaits us at the end of the very long and arduous quest of Undeath, now that we've added in the Classical Lichdom expansions. So the first thing that you're probably going to notice once you plug this baby in and start playing, first off, if you die, you will actually come back to your Phylactery. That is the first thing. This expansion was designed with D&D in mind by far. So if you're familiar with Liches in Dungeons and Dragons, their physical bodies cannot be killed in the traditional sense. They always are regrown at their Phylactery within a little bit of time. So you kind of get that same feel with your Phylactery. Another thing that you'll notice once you go into Lich form, boom shakalaka. First off, Lich form looks amazing. I love the flowing robes, especially the whole blowing in the wind thing. I know there's not really wind in here, but that just looks cool. I love it. Alright, so we've got our Lich form. Now, if you have played some of the other expansions or even just regular Undeath, you will know that when you switch the spell menu, this shouldn't happen. This is one of the first things that really stood out to me, that really appealed to me, because if I have just given my immortal soul and my humanity to become a Lich and join the undead, you can bet your butt I want to bring all my spells with me. I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, I am a powerful superior being. How many spells do you know now? 12. How many did you know before? 532. Makes you wonder who's the superior being, right? Now, there is no question. You have full access to all of your spells. Obviously, the power button is what makes you shapeshift back into human, so shouts are out, at least while you're in Lich form. But other than that, all of your spells are still fully accessible. This is one of the things that I really love, because you can totally just whip out all of your regular spells. Animation is a little slower because you are a big Lich and everything you do has to be dramatic, of course, why not? But as you can see, you can go get them all. I love it. It just feels so much more immersive to me to be in a more powerful spell form, but still have all of my spells. It makes total sense. Why on earth would I only have like 4 spells when I go into my ungodly Lich mode? It just yeah. I love this particular part of the expansion. Totally works for me. Alright, next we're going to have a look at our Lich stats. In order to do that, we need to be back into our humanoid form, because, yeah, you can't access the character menu while you are an actual Lich. So, first off, oh, geez, wait. Uh-oh. Let me just check something. I may have started this off prematurely. I did not. Oh, good. Okay, so, here is our little... there are some buffs that you get further in this expansion, and for a second I was worried that I had actually done the fully run through the expansion and saved, but that is not the case, so we're still good. Alright, so let's look at the core stats that come with becoming a Lich. First we have the Curse of Lichdom. Your health no longer regenerates passively, and conventional healing spells do not work on you. Healing potions and consumed food also have no effect, while other potions have a 50% reduced efficacy and duration. So, for example, if I were to go chugging through my potions here, my potion of extreme healing will not help me at all. Not at all. You will be dying, you will be chugging the potions, and I don't know, maybe it's seeping out through holes in your chest like on Pirates of the Caribbean, who knows? But it ain't going to do you any good. However, you can grab a Draught of Resist Shock, for example, or Draught of Destruction, but they will only help you out for half as much as they would a regular mortal, because you're no longer a regular mortal. So that's an interesting... it's almost a deal breaker to me if I have no way to actually heal, because, I don't know, maybe it's my playstyle, but I tend to get hit a lot in combat. Not so much when I have a small platoon with me, but we all saw how well that worked out with narrow hallways. There is a spell, actually, that will heal you, period. I mean, it's more of a necrotic rejuvenation, but just the fact that it gives you the option, even if it's just an adept spell, made me feel a lot better about the switching over to Lichdom, because it made no sense to me to not have any source of health. I mean, you die super fast. Alright, so I think that's everything over here. Yes, so we keep going down. Now we have another buff called Improved Physical Form. Your undead physical form is now 33% resistant to ranged weapons and 25% resistant to non-silver melee weapons. So we basically have armor. We have a wonderful armor buff that works on pure damage reduction. And because when we're in Lich form, I'm fairly certain your equipment does, if the numbers from your equipment don't come with you because you're transferring into a new physical form. However, if you're using Akatal's Recital, those spells will auto-fire when you enter combat, even if you're a Lich. So if you were to max out your alteration perks with Ordinator so that your ebony flesh is 3 times as effective, and then you rack on this buff, now you're talking some serious armor. And I don't know if it's enough to handle some of the modded bosses, but it's significant. It helps out a lot. There is also the effects from Undeath. Because you're undead, you have water breathing. You're 50% resistance to frost, 100% resistant to poison and disease, and 100% weakness to fire. So fire will be a problem. We've got to always be aware of fire. There are some spells, particularly if you're doing Odin or Mysticism, that literally protect you against fire to a certain extent. I also have a perk that gives me some, well, I did not take the fire resistance perk. I probably should have. I forgot that my Lich would be weak to fire. But, so keep that in mind. It's kind of a trade-off. You've got a lot of armor, you've got Undeath, you don't technically die, you just resurrect your Phylactery, but fire will be a problem. So those are the trade-offs that come with becoming a Lich. Now that we've done the downsides, let's look at some of the upsides. So, first off, I don't know why I have Stone Flesh favorited. That makes no sense. What I should have is Ice Coffin. Okay, so this is the first spell that you get by becoming a Lich, and we're going to go ahead and bring in a nice happy little subject to demonstrate for us. Is you having a very bad day. Woohoo! So, this spell does 60 health and 60 stamina damage. It is frost, but as you can see, it has almost a paralytic effect. It coats them in ice, and then they fall over. So not only does it do a decent amount of damage, but it also immobilizes them. So if you need to escape, or if you want time for your buddies to gang beat them, that is also an option. And yeah, so that works out real good. The next spell you get when you become a Lich, this is one of the reasons why I want to keep Classical Lichdom versus some of the others, is you have a basic healing spell. All right? It's only 12 points of healing per second, and it does chew up your magicka fairly quickly. But if you've got a horde of undead backing you up and you take some damage, you shouldn't need more than some immediate healing, right? You should be okay. You should be okay. Fingers crossed. And this obviously works in your Lich form and in your human form, which is another thing that I really like. You can actually use your Lich spells while you're in your humanoid form. So you can actually, if you're using a different build with different types of armor that allows you to do something specific that you need to beat a certain boss or complete a certain quest in a way that you want, you still have access to the Lich spells even if you aren't actually currently in Lich form, which I think is also fantastic. Next we're going to look at Sacrifice Thrall. Let's see, so this spell, actually, you know what, I should probably look at some of the spell descriptions here. Your Ice Coffin, okay, I didn't miss anything there. Ice Coffin does have a high magicka cost, probably because it also encases them in ice and they fall over. So it's basically like frost paralysis. That is expensive. So keep that in mind. It's a one-off, and then you might be out of magicka if you don't have the right perks. The necrotic rejuvenation, that's also straightforward, 60 points per second. It'll get higher when we get further into this showcase because there are things you can do to make your Lich even more powerful. And now we're on Sacrifice Thrall. Okay, sorry, I'm getting out of the habit here. All right, so for Sacrifice Thrall, you are going to return a reanimated minion to death and heal for 25% of their health. So the idea here is we're going to combine this with Dread Zombie and have a little conversation here with our Bandit Chief. It's going to be a very short conversation. Basically, it's going to be one word: rise. And now we've got our lovely little Bandit Chief. Now you're in the middle of a fight, you've lost a lot of health, but you've got some extra, or maybe your Bandit Chief is about to die. And then you can slay your reanimated creature and enjoy the health benefits. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work on your assembled skeletons, but we might as well find out. No. Okay, so it only works on corpses that you've actually reanimated, which is nice. It's kind of fun. I haven't done the Ordinator perk tree yet. How was this? I'm trying to remember how they described it like bowling with corpses, if that makes any sense. Like if you go further down this tree, the undead like gets super fast and they explode when they die and they spread disease. They said it was something like bowling with corpses. But the idea with this tree is that when you're reanimating a corpse, it's an expendable resource that explodes. So I like how that synergizes with this particular spell that makes your corpse an expendable resource that you can actually use to heal yourself. Which is a very lichy thing to do, right? If your skeleton's about to die anyway and you're getting hurt, of course you're going to suck the life out of him and give yourself a little more healing. That's a very lichy thing to do. It just is. Next we're going to look at Poison Shroud, and before I do this, I'm actually going to save because I'm not sure if Inigo is going to survive this or not. But, you know, I mean, this is what the demos are for. So, for Poison Shroud, okay, hopefully this only hurts enemies. For 60 seconds, nearby opponents take 13 points poison damage per second. We're going to test this and see if our allies are immune or not. Perfect. Okay, so it doesn't hurt your allies. If anyone gets close, they take poison damage. You might as well have a look. Okay, that one died even faster. So either my poison was ridiculously good or my team is just ridiculous. It might have been the team. I love how Morgane is just like peeking around the corner. I wonder if she's still trying to figure out, like, she's a part of my team for like 30 seconds and I attained Lichdom. It's, I don't know, it's like meeting an intern for the first time and then suddenly he gets his PhD in 2 different fields of study inside of 30 seconds. I don't know. Anyway, so there's your Poison Shroud. You can also use this in Lich mode and run around just, you know, casting poison on all of those poor hapless souls that get too close. Next we have Seed of Pestilence. I love how they're adding in, like, all of these necrotic and poison effects are still in the restoration school. It makes total sense to me. Like, I was a nursing major for a while, and literally learning how the body works and why does give you a deeper insight into how to break it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, Seed of Pestilence. Afflict an undead target with a plague that spreads to living targets, doing 5 disease damage per second to health and stamina for 30 seconds. So the idea here is that one of your lucky undead will become a carrier to a disease, and anyone near it is going to get the disease. So the animation, I just think he's still got the disease. You know what, we'll just put a bandit in here and see if he gets something caught.
Now ain't this a surprise?
Oh yeah, alright, so there was a little tuft of green energy that I assume was him getting poisoned. I believe it spreads from target to target rather than like a cloak effect that's constant. Yeah, it spreads to living targets, doing 5 disease damage per second to health and stamina for 30 seconds. So it is meant to spread through a group, but the initial target is an undead target. So the idea is you've reanimated or assembled a undead, and then you send them into battle, and they infect any living targets that disagree with your unholy reliance upon Lichdom. Okay, so lastly, this is the last spell. It's more of an ability that you get when you are able to access Lich form. You can also use True Sight, which unfortunately only works... You can't access it from Lich form because you can't use powers while you're in Lich form. So you can use this. There we go. Got ourselves some lovely night vision. Oh, jeez. Morgane's Mistmen are cool. Mine are just regular skeletons. Hers are like all creepy. Ah, there we go. So now I can give you guys a proper tour of Ravenspire just because it's no longer half-wreathed in creepy shadows. But I believe there's no cap on that power. You can use it as often as you want, and I think you can, yep, you can disable it as much as you want too. I think. Maybe I just recasted it. I think I may have just recasted it. Yes, I did. Okay, so you can't turn it off, but it only lasts 60 seconds. Alright, so that is the initial stuff that you get from becoming a Lich, right? Those are your initial spells. And if that's all this mod was, I would still be perfectly happy with it. However, if you're familiar with D&D, you will recognize that the modder took this to the next level. And I'm going to demonstrate that very simply. Walk up to your lovely Phylactery and feed it a soul. This requires a black soul gem that is actually loaded with a soul. You harvest the animus in the black soul gem and imbue your Phylactery with its magical energy. Your power grows. You immediately gain plus 50 magicka. Feeding more souls into your Phylactery will further increase your magicka capacity and the power of your spell arsenal. So the more souls you feed into your Phylactery, you will have more magicka and your spells will be more powerful and possibly last longer, depending on the nature of the spell. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Remember, we put one soul into the Phylactery and we got increased spell power and increased magicka, or just increased magicka, but more spell power is coming. You can put up to 50 souls into this Phylactery and it will buff you permanently. So we're going to spend the rest of this video going on a merry, merry ride, because I have literally used the power of the keyboard to give me 59 black soul gems. So yeah, we're loaded. I wanted to see what this baby could do. So soul number 2, what does it give us? Tapping into your Phylactery's magic, you shield your physical form in a magical barrier. For each soul fed to your Phylactery, you gain 1% spell absorption and 2 points of armor rating. It doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, this goes up to 50 souls that are put into your Phylactery. So it's gonna add up. We'll go ahead and I want to try and track each of these buffs as they are added to your character. So here's your Lich barrier. I only have 2 souls in my Phylactery right now, and I've already got 4 extra points of armor and 1 point of spell absorption, which goes up to 2% of spell absorption when I am in Lich form. I also have Magicka Flood, which gives me increased magicka. Remember, I start off with 50, but I gained 8 more when I put in another soul. So once you get up to 50 souls, this is a lot of bonus magicka. Spells are 1% more effective, which becomes 2% once you are in Lich form. Ah, this is going to be good. All right, now soul number 3. Phylactery absorbs a black soul. Usually, I'm keeping my eye on the upper left corner to see if... Okay, here we go. As your necromantic power grows, you learn to manipulate the energy of living souls into raw magicka. You may now cast Siphon Life. There we go. Siphon Life added. That's what I was looking for. So Siphon Life, I think is that Conjuration? Oh, it might be Destruction. Yes, it is. Okay, so Siphon Life. Drain a living target's life to restore your own magicka. If cast on an undead target, this spell heals them instead. So one thing, if you remember some of my Arcanum discussions, I really like spells that serve 2 purposes with 1 spell, because you only got the 2 hands, right? It's much better to have spells that are more versatile. So this one can drain magicka from a target or heal an undead target. So drain magicka from the living or heal the undead. One or the other. So what we're going to do here is we're going to throw in Ice Coffin again, because that thing just guzzles up your magicka.
Now ain't this we got?
And we're going to get some magicka back. Oh, that is not working. Why is that not? Huh, that's interesting. So I was using Siphon Life, which is supposed to generate magicka, but it didn't seem to do that. Drain a living target's life to restore your own magicka. Inigo, don't take this the wrong way, but I think I'm going to have to use you for my demo. Okay, that is a little confusing. Maybe, so it seems to cost more magicka per second than it actually extracts from the target. So I bet you it only is effective against like mages or, you know, opponents that have a lot of magicka, which would mean this is primarily used for healing your undead, which, I mean, that's not a bad thing. Being able to heal your undead so they can keep chewing away at bad guys is still super helpful. And I suppose it could also be that this guy doesn't have a lot of destruction. I bet you that's it. Because I built this guy as a necromancer, he's all conjuration and restoration, because that's what he is. His destruction is not good. I see. I don't even have any perks in it. So if we were to perk that baby up, then it would become a lot cheaper, and it might actually be feasible to drain magicka from a target. But keep in mind, it is more practical to use it to heal your undead rather than to drain magicka, particularly if you're using certain Ordinator perks that make it so you have just a certain number of spells and you don't actually use magicka. So something to keep in mind for the future. I would play with that more, but we've got like 46 more souls to feed to this thing, and I want to do it in one video. So moving on, soul number 4. Alright, so this is your standard result, right? You're not going to get a new spell every time you put in a soul, but you do get a little more armor, a little more magicka, a little more spell absorption. We're going to check the totals at like 20, 35, and 50 souls just to see how this scales. But we're going to keep going until we unlock something new. Alright, your mastery over necromantic abilities grows. Necromantic Rejuvenation, Siphon Life, and Death Grip are 50% more effective. There we go. Okay, now we're talking. So remember, Siphon Life is 50% more effective now, which means you're far more likely to be able to actually draw enough magicka from the target to make it worthwhile. Also, you'll be able to heal faster. Death Grip is actually, now that I think about it, Death Grip is one thing that I hadn't actually showed you guys. So let's go ahead and do that. Death Grip is something that you have to actually be in Lich form to use, right? It's going to automatically spawn in your right hand unless you already have a spell selected for that hand. So I currently don't have anything in my right hand, so it's automatically going to do the thing, the Death Grip. And let me bring in a couple of bandit chiefs to show you what this does.
Bad time to get lost, friend.
There we go. Did you see the air that guy got? Oh, geez, there's still fire going on. Wait, who's still fighting? What? Oh, okay. Alright, I wasn't sure what was going on there for a sec. That was fun. So, if you saw the body flying through the air, Death Grip, I don't know if it works on... Oh, yep, works on objects. There we go. So, you can pick up... It's telekinetic, right? You can pick up people. You can pick up... You know what? I don't know if I can pick up items. I've never tried. Okay, it doesn't look like you can pick up items. But you can totally pick up people and throw them. And it even works on giants. I have tried that before. We might toy with that a little later, but I want to make sure that I unlock everything that I can before we, party on. Obviously, we also took a hit from a bandit chief while we were at it. But, I mean, we don't really die anymore. We just come back at our phylactery, and all of our boys would still be here waiting. So, oh man, that is dark. That's like, I've slayed the Lich in his own throne room, and he's back, and fully healed, and all of his friends are here. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah. So let's look a little bit, because that last buff increased our Necrotic Rejuvenation, which is now 24 points per second instead of 16. Very nice. So your Siphon, I don't remember all of the... There was like 4 spells that became more effective, but basically your draining and your poison, I think it was your draining spells and your healing spells became more effective. Cool. Alright, soul number 6. Get a little bit more of a buff. 7, same thing. 8, here we go. Your staff is a conduit for the potent magic that surges through your phylactery. In Lich form, while wielding a staff, you have increased health and magicka, and all spells last 25% longer. So this is a harder one to actually look at the statistics because you can't actually access your character information while you are in Lich form. But when you are in Lich form, I literally have the Staff of Worms that I got from Undeath. So I can permanently raise an unlucky bandit chief to serve me forever because it's permanent. It's great. I have a permanent thrall. Anyway, so while I have this staff, while it's equipped, my Lich form has more health, and I believe it makes my spells more 25% more effective? Pretty sure. Let me see if... I'm not sure if it even mentions the buff here when you're not in Lich form, but we are going to check. Oh, Dark Resurgence. Yeah, this is where it tells you if you're killed, you'll regenerate at your phylactery. We have Improved Form, Lich Barrier, Magic of Flood, Staff of Worms, Alter Self, Magic Resistance. Okay, yeah. So some of these buffs that you're going to get through the phylactery only proc while you're in Lich mode, so they don't actually show up here on your character screen when you're in mortal mode because you're not in Lich mode. And in Lich mode, you can't look at the character menu. So some of it is a little hard to keep track of just because there's no easy way to check it. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's just the background music I need. Actually, you know what? I've got just the spell for you, sir. I don't think your services are going to be required, and I seem to remember something about sucking the life out of... Ah, there we are. Sacrifice Thrall. I think, yeah, goodbye. I don't need that groaning interrupting my my demonstration. All right, what do we got now? All right, soul number 9. Progressively stronger. Soul number 10. Here we go. You learn to construct a stronger physical form for yourself, gaining higher resistance to ordinary weapons. You are now 40% resistant to non-silver melee weapons and 50% resistant to ranged weapons. I don't know how much armor you would have to have in order to have a 50% damage reduction, but keep in mind this also will stack with a couple of things. So you've got your improved physical form, right? That's your straight down percent damage reduction. But you also have Lich Barrier that gives you an improved base armor rating. And then when you get into trouble and Akataus fires off your flesh armor spell, that's going to stack too. So while you can't actually check your character stats in Lich form to see what they actually are, you can do the math. And if with the right perks, you can have like 300, 400 armor on top of 40, 50% damage reduction. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Soul number 11. Gets us stronger. We'll keep on going until we find something new. Okay, so at soul number 12, keep in mind these are black soul gems, so you literally have to go out and suck the lives out of the children of Salem 50 times. I highly recommend, by the way, oh come on, it's the Azura's Star, but you go black, so it only collects black souls, and then you'll have a much easier time. Just find a black soul, come back to Phylactery, load it, you're good. You don't have to worry about buying and stocking up on black soul gems. Although there is an altar in front of Ravenspire that actually transforms Grand Soul Gems into Black Soul Gems. There you go. There's your mass 3D printer for Black Soul Gems. All right, we're at Soul 14. I think we've fed 14 souls so far. Your Lich form is mightier than ever. Augmented by the souls stored in your Phylactery, it is faster, stronger, and more durable than before. This is one of my favorites. I love speed. Whew. Oh, just look at how fast this thing moves now. It's just beautiful. I mean, Liches in D&D are kind of slow. They aren't meant to be dodging trouble. They're meant to be making you run away like a scared little girl. So, I mean, I don't know how much faster you need your undead to be, but when you're fast enough to like get in, attack, and back out quick, this is nice. Especially with the combat mods that I'm running, that are supposed to slow you down during combat, or at least when you have all of your items out and you're casting or swinging a weapon or something. Being this mobile will be very helpful. Keep in mind, at least early game, there is a buff later on in the Phylactery that will fix this, but right now, if I were to run into town in my Lich form mode, everyone would try to kill me. Same with werewolf form, same with vampire lord form. Keep that in mind. Okay, so on to soul number 13. Like I said, you can feed 50 souls to this thing. There's buffs all along the way. It's going to be beautiful. All right, soul number 15. I thought there might be something interesting at 15. In Unlife, there are no limits. Even the innate disadvantages of having an undead body can be overcome with the right magic. You construct a physical form that is 50% less weak to fire than before. Thank you very much. 50%. Now when you look at your weakness to fire from Curse of Lichdom, oh no, that's down at the Undeath section. Doop. Now we're only 50% resistant to weak to fire. So with the right spells auto-procking, you can nullify that and at least not be extra hurt when they throw fire at your undead immortal face. And we have soul number 16. Yeah. Usually the buffs seem to happen on 5s. At 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, I stand corrected. That was 18. Alright, so, separate from the mortal shell, you see behind the veil of the world and perceive the nature of reality with new clarity. Gazing into strange apocrypha, you learn esoteric secrets buried within the labyrinthian libraries. The unknowable becomes known. all experience gain is 15% faster. So you're going to level up 15% faster in everything. You can be a smithy, you can start sneaking and stabbing people. All of those skills will level up 15% faster. Keep in mind, when you resurrect at your Phylactery 3 times, so once you've died 3 times, you will gain another ability called Transcendence that adds 25% faster XP gain in all skills. So that will compound with this. After 18 souls, you will be leveling up 40% faster. Well, you gain experience 40% faster. If you feel like that's overpowered, there are some mods that can help to counter that. But by this time, I mean, if you've taken the time to get to level 30 to start the Undeath quest line, finish the Undeath quest line, and then start hunting a bunch of people for Black Soul Gems, by then you're like level 35, 40. You could use all the help you can get, especially with the difficulty mods that I run. Okay, where are we at here? All right, soul number 19. That's just going to be a regular buff. Very nice. Soul number 20. Learn to temporarily disrupt the minds of living beings, preventing them from accessing magic. You may now cast Flay Mind. Alrighty, let's see if we can find that. Sounds like an illusion thing. I am correct. Alright, so Flay Mind. Compare base magicka with your target. If you have more magicka, you will briefly stun your target and disable them from casting spells for 18 seconds. So this is kind of, it's intended to be an anti-spellcaster ability, right? We're going to go ahead and quick save here because I'm going to have to bring in some more bandits and I try not to die. But let's give this a shot. Okay, so... Oh, there we go. Yeah, that just stunned him, paralyzed him. It turns out bandit chiefs have less magicka than a mage or a lich. So the paralysis alone is great, but apparently the gravy on top for this spell is that they will be unable to cast a spell for 15 seconds. So you hang on to your magicka, you send in your horde of undead. The other spellcaster wastes, burns through their magicka, throwing spells at your troops, and then you hit them with Mind Flay, and now they can't cast any more spells for 15 seconds. And I mean, with an army like this, imagine what I can do in 15 seconds. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, so the reason I'm staying in human form as I keep feeding my Phylactery, I'm pretty sure you can feed it in Lich form. Might as well check. Pretty sure you can still feed this thing. Ah, you cannot. You do have to be in mortal form to feed your Phylactery. Which is fair, because I want to be able to go into my character menu and actually see all of the changes that are being made. Okay, so we've reached 20. This is going to be good. Alright, 21. We are now more powerful. 22. Learn to dominate the wills of living targets, temporarily putting them under your control. You may now cast Enslave Mind. Now that we're going to have a look at. That sounds like fun. Alrighty, Enslave Mind, master level spell. Force them under your control. Enslaved targets take 1 point of damage per second. I have no idea what that's going to be like. Okay, so first let's make sure I have enough magicka to actually pull this thing off. I've got... Alright, yeah, let me just top off my illusion spells. That ought to help at least make it possible to cast this mother. That is a very expensive spell. This should be good. Alright, we're going to try it. I'm thinking if I try this in the hallway... Let's see, let's throw on some True Sight here so we can actually... There we go. Okay, so we're going to summon a hapless victim. Okay, interesting. So, alright, let's try this. I wonder if I can just shut the door here. Okay, will you guys stay in there while I try to experiment with mind controlling things that I don't know how to mind control? Okay, I think that'll keep them out of the way, because we're gonna... Alright, this is a master level spell, which makes this kind of tricky. Actually, maybe not. That might be an easier way to do this. There is definitely an easier way to do this. Okay. Hopefully the bandit chief survives the fall. Okay. I haven't... It looks like that when they say gain complete control, it's not like... There's a apocalypse spell that literally allows you to hop into the body of your victim and drive them around. But I haven't seen anything like that. What it seems to do is they just stand there immobilized, and then they take 1 point of damage per second. which is still really helpful if that's like a giant bandit captain that's trying to crush your head, and you definitely need to stop them so that, or at least to slow them down, because, I mean, as a Lich, you're going to have backup. Like, you're going to have a lot of backup. So having a spell that just completely locks down a target and hurts them by 1 point per second for perpetuity, it doesn't say this thing has a... I don't see a deadline to this. It just keeps going, I assume, until they die. You know, it doesn't say for 60 seconds. No, it just keeps going. So that's another cool thing to look into. All right, what do we got left? I got to wrap this up, or somewhat wrap this up, because this is going longer than I planned, but I really want to do this in one video. All right, soul number 23, 24, 25. As the stench of death grows on you, you shroud yourself in an unbreakable magical aura, concealing the true nature of your ghastly appearance. All eyes are deceived by the illusion. Your Lich form is no longer hated and feared and will not be attacked on sight. That is right. At soul number 25, you are now able to hide in plain sight. Everyone will treat you like a regular NPC, even if you are in Lich form. I'm trying to find that buff specifically now. I don't know if they tacked it on to the description in Undeath or what. But you guys just saw it, and we will demonstrate that, because you can literally walk through town now in Lich mode, and no one will care. I don't know how much conversation you'll be having, but they won't be trying to kill you, so that's helpful too. It also means you'll be able to run around, you know, going from town to town around the woods, and you don't have to worry about accidentally stumbling across like a Stormcloak patrol and being like, wait, I wanted to help you guys. Now you've seen me in my true form and are trying to kill me. No, you can avoid all of that. You just need 25 black souls. All right, soul number 28, 29, 30. All right, while your mind fills with arcane knowledge, the light of human experience dims. Each passing day in unlife shrinks your empathy. What was apathy turns into contempt, and malicious intent fills your heart. Your attacks and spells are now 10% more effective on living humanoids. Basically, you take out living things faster. Humanoids in particular. So yeah, you're going to chew through bandits like it's going out of style. While we're on the subject, let's go ahead and check on our Phylactery Soul related buffs, because we've got our Lich Barrier, which is currently improving our armor rating by 60 points. We also have 15% spell absorption, which goes up to 30% in Lich form. We have the Lich Barrier. Oh, that's the spell absorption. We also have Magicka Flood, 170 additional points of Magicka, and all spells are 15% more effective in human form and 30% more, last 30% longer in Lich form. Boom shakalaka. And we're only at 30 souls. We're going to take this all the way to 50. And then we're going to go on a killing spree, because why not? Okay, where are we at here? 34, 35. An unholy presence creeps on you, a sense of being seen by the leering eyes of a god that should not be. The King of Worms watches over you. At a necromantic altar, you may use one filled black soul gem to craft a scroll of Manny Marco's will, increasing your summon limit by 1 for 5 hours. Scrolls may be stacked up to 12 times. This is possibly one of the most amazing and arguably game-breaking things you can get. You can now create the staff, the scroll of Manny Marco's will. We're going to demonstrate that now. We're going to make 2. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and make 3. We've got some bodies in the back. All right, so the effect stacks up to 12 times. So you can make up to 12 of these scrolls and use them. All right, Manny Marco's will. This should be good. That is the wrong button. How am I supposed to use this? This is an item. I have selected the item. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like activating this thing is a little tricky. I'm not trying to punch. I'm trying to Manny Marco. Oh. Okay, I think that was 1. Yeah, it's not... Yeah, I think... Okay, yeah, I got it. 2. Activating the scrolls takes a bit to charge, because, let's face it, this is master level if ever there was one. So now we're going to go over to our Dread Zombie? Yeah, Dread Zombie should be fine. go to our little pile of corpses here. That's a 1. That's a 2. That's a 3. And that's a 4. It lasts for 5 hours. And I don't even have the Twin Souls perk that gives you another conjured creature that you can maintain. Right? My conjuration for my level for being a Lich, my perks are actually pretty mild compared to this other stuff that I could do, right? I think it's March of Oblivion. Yeah, there we go. Oh, geez. And March of Oblivion isn't just 1 additional minion. It's up to 3, depending on how much magicka you have. So yeah, you can now create many Marco scrolls, and for the next 5 hours, you can your reanimation limit goes up by 1 per scroll. So, yeah. I mean, at this point, you technically wouldn't need Ordinator. I mean, these skeletons last longer, but you can then just start recycling all the bodies that you find, at least all the humanoid ones. Yeah, so that happened. That's awesome. Next we have 36, 37, 38, 39, and I'm expecting some kind of a boost at 40. I am not disappointed. Reanimating a corpse is an arduous task for a mortal. As a Lich, the dark practice is second nature. Your boundless magicka and profane knowledge lets you raise armies of the dead at will. You may now cast Mass Reanimate, resurrecting all dead targets in the area to fight for you. Well, that's going to be demonstrated, like, now. And that is definitely going to be in Conjuration. And I think we still have a couple corpses here on the floor. Yes, we do. Abracadabra. Ha 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 ha. Now, this is not even the best part. This is the best part. It's not a once a day. It's a regular spell. It's a regular spell. You can run around and just res all the dead. If it's a corpse, it's yours. Yeah, now I'm feeling the Lichdom. I'm feeling the Lichdom now. You can have up to 12 additional reanimated victims, not to mention a mass area of effect reanimation. That's, yes, please. All right, 42 souls. 43, we're on the downhill track. 44, 45, once per day you may call forth a Dracolich from Oblivion. Oh, okay. Oh, this is going to be good. Okay, so obviously we're not testing that puppy indoors. We're not doing that indoors to save our life. We're definitely, yeah, I've got it marked. We're gonna do a nice big demo in just a moment. 47, 48, 49, and la pièce de résistance. I don't even know what that means in French. You have become a master over life and death, the forces that demarcate the two. The souls of living beings can be torn out at the lift of a finger. You may now cast Devour Soul. This is a master level spell. If your target is mortal, cast Soul Trap on them, then rip out and devour their soul. You restore health equal to 10% of your target's health. It will kill the mortal target, trap their soul, and heal you. Remember when I was talking about having a spell that serves multiple functions? I can't think of a better one than killing the target, capturing their soul in a gem for future use, and healing yourself. All at the same time. Like, yes, please. Alright, so now we cannot, we have reached the maximum soul capacity. We cannot feed our Phylactery any more souls. But just to keep in mind what we have achieved, 50% resistance to ranged weapons, 40% resistance to non-silver melee weapons. We have a Lich Barrier. Your armor rating is improved by 100 points, so we get 100 extra armor on top of what we have through Akatau's Recital, and on top of the improved physical form damage reduction. 25% spell absorption, which goes up to 50% in Lich form. 250 additional points of magicka, and all spells are 25% more effective, and when you go into Lich form, last 25% longer. Yeah, basically you're death incarnate at this point. Okay, so we're going to take a brief recess while I gather up all of these bones, make a lot more skeletons, and then we're gonna go find some bandits. It's gonna be beautiful. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the final demonstration. We have our lovely volunteers waiting in the adjacent fort. Oh yeah, I've got to do that. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I was gonna do this at night because you could have more of a thematic view, but I want you guys to actually be able to see everything, and I've got some mods that make the dark a little scarier, a little harder to see what's going on. So, go forth! Flee, pitiful mortals! Why? Because I have a dragon. If I can... Seem to have made a mistake. There we go. Alright. It reset my ice spell. That was annoying. Or I should say it reset to my ice spell. There we go. Hello, my lovely Dracolich. If you would please come and help out in the proceedings, that would be just great. Alright, what else we got? What else we got? Devour Soul, yes. Feed me. Feed Daddy. Where are they? Ah, there you are. Oh, wow, can't even get close enough. They died too quick. Cool. Still got a dragon around? Alright, we're going to bring in some more. What else you got for me? Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Why can't I get this Devour Soul to work? I think it just has a really long casting time. Oh well. There are other ways to skin a cat. But the aiming on this staff is a little off. Is this not just the bomb diggity? Alright, Staff of Worms aiming is specifically off. That's good to know. Unfortunately, you can't be a Lich in first-person mode, so that will make this a little trickier to aim. One thing to keep in mind... Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and debug this a little bit. It switched my spells when I hopped back into Lich form, which made it harder for me to do my thing. So, I think you're better off... Alright, let's do a test here. Let's do a nice little test. Let's try Necrotic Rejuvenation. Yeah, let's try just... So we're going with just Necrotic Rejuvenation and an empty right hand, because when I level up, or when I transform... Oh yeah, I think you have to wait like 30 seconds to... Oh, do I still have my dragon? I still have my dragon. How long does that thing last? It's beautiful. I think there is actually a... I think you have to wait just a little bit in between transformations when you become a Lich. So keep that in mind. You can't just take it on and off like you're wearing clothes. But yeah, I mean, what more do you need, right? You've got your Dracolich, you've got your Undead, you've got your Mass Reanimate. The one thing that I noticed that really fouled me up in this final showdown was you cannot actually access your favorites menu while you are in Lich mode. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, the GPU on this is not... My computer is not liking this many NPCs, but woohoo! Juggle! Woohoo! Oh, is that not? I just feel like a Lich. I don't even mind that two of my skeletons are now attacking each other. I can just make more! Alright, so this is Classical Lichdom. I hope you guys have enjoyed this demonstration, and I guess my favorite part is the little mini quest to feed black souls to your phylactery. I think that makes total sense for Liches, and I love the advances that it gives you. I think it's just fantastic. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite part of Classical Lichdom is. I can't even find my dragon, but I can still hear him. I love it. You get a Dracolich. What more do you want? Anyway, so feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.